Hey, everybody, it's the coach. This is the NFL on EA Sports. Straight ahead, we've got a great one on tap between the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. With that, let's get up to M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. There to call all the action, we welcome in our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League brings us to historic Baltimore, Maryland, and M&T Bank Stadium. The two teams emerging from their respective tunnels a minute ago to the approval of this Baltimore crowd. They're all set as their Ravens will match up with the Tennessee Titans. Brandon Godden alongside Charles Davis. And before kickoff, Charles, quickly your keys to the game.
Well, partner, I could give you the standard ones, turnovers, special teams play. But here's one that doesn't get talked about much anymore, and that's time of possession. Whoever controls the football, gives their defense a break, and takes care of business, that's the team that's going to win this ball game.
The Florida Atlantic man, Greg Joseph, ready to get this one started. And off we go from M&T Bank Stadium. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So here come the Ravens now, ready to get the football for the first time. They'll be led out by the final pick of the first round in 2018 out of Louisville. It's Lamar Jackson. They'll start out here with a jet sweep. He'll be dropped after a gain of about 6 across the 30 to the 31.
Let's talk a little football 101 here, because one of the keys to advancing the ball downfield, success on first down. Huge difference, as we know, between 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 8 and 9.
They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31.
Man, I got you. Man, I got you.
Now Jackson. He's got it to Ingram, complete. And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. 7 yards there and a first down.
I like it, I like it, I like it. Get everyone involved in the passing game, and you know you can create those great mismatches throwing it to your guys out of the backfield.
And on the first drive, that can also help establish some rhythm, right?
I think so, and gets everyone involved. They feel like they're part of it, and really gets them amped up as they go forward.
A first down run, good for about 3. 2nd and 7 coming up. A gain of 3, 2nd down.
Well, I think that's what they're going to need to do here in the first half. You've got to take some pressure off of this young quarterback, and no better way to do it than to establish the running game early.
Three yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. Throwing is Jackson. This one complete to Ingram. And he'll get it out to midfield. Looks like, they'll spot it right at midfield at the 50. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
I'm not sure that this play was designed for him specifically, but they got through the progressions and got the ball to him. So, second catch on the drive. He may not be a primary guy, but they definitely want him involved, don't they?
Absolutely. This early, the opening drive, as you said, 2 catches. So, if they can get him going in the passing game, that should open up his running game, too. And down to the 44, 5 yards that time. And a very good offensive unit here. One of the reasons they're so good is running back Mark Ingram.
Took a little while for him to find his footing when he got into the league, but the former Heisman Trophy winner has it now and has really upped his pass receiving potential. A nice player.
Here's Snead as they run the jet sweep. And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. Officially, it will go as a 1-yard loss, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down.
Well, it certainly appears that in this game, someone has decided they're going to open up their playbook. First quarter, and we see that play. I like their style.
Let's go. 50's the plan. Check 55 to Mike.
On 3rd down, Jackson. That's caught inside the 20. And he's going to be out down inside the 20 at the 15. Give him 30 yards there. All right, Charles, let me put you in the head of one of those defenders out there. You have a big play like that go against you so early. What does that shake your confidence?
It shouldn't, but it often does, because your thought process all during the week is how you're going to get after that offense and make your plays. And when they make one against you, it makes you a little bit hesitant.
Time to regroup. So after the big play, look at this, all the way down at the 15 now on 1st and 10. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. Now he'll pull it down. Nothing open downfield. He keeps it himself for 11 and a 1st down.
Partner, he was going through his progressions. Not there, not there. After about the 3rd one, he decided he better pull it down and run for it. And he slides down and avoids the hit for good measure.
From the gun, Jackson. He'll buy some time, and he will score. Touchdown, Baltimore. A 3-yard touchdown run. And the Ravens take it all the way down the field and score on the opening drive. They got to love that. 9-play drive results in 6 points.
That means they're doing the dictating. That means that they've described how the game's going to go. They're playing at their tempo, at their pace. If you're on the other side of the ball, if you're playing defense, defense is not methodical. They've got to go in there and shake things up and create a little havoc.
Justin Tucker for the extra point. And the Ravens lead at 7-0. A good drive that time as they go 9 plays in all. And it was capped off by the touchdown run that came from Lamar Jackson. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. This is taken at the 3. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. Time to see the Titans on offense, led by a man who really has resurrected his career this season, Ryan Tannehill. Took a chance going to Tennessee, wound up being the starter Week 7 forward and leading the NFL, Charles, in quarterback rating, and now he's got him in the divisional round.
Went 8-3 in his 11 starts. As you mentioned, taking over for a former #1 pick, Marcus Mariota, and he was acquired from Miami to be a backup, to be an insurance policy. I don't think that they thought that if he had to play, he would lead the league in quarterback rating. So now, the big win in New England, they head to Baltimore for a monster ball game, a #6 seed with a chance to win. He has to look at his career now and think,
and got his man complete. 33 yards that time.
We always talk about the guy who paid off the play, don't we? A guy who caught it or ran it. But how about the elements that go into making a big play? This one in particular, able to scan the field, pocket pocket held up nicely. What a terrific job by the offensive line. The route well run, and the football right on the money.
So that changes things a bit. Here's a 1st and 10 all the way down at the 35. Now a first carry for Derrick Henry. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
Plays like we just saw there. That's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front. So when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say we're going to build from the inside out, because if you control the line of scrimmage, you control the rest of the ball game, and that's what we're seeing here. They're actually playing in the offense's backfield, not necessarily just playing at the line of scrimmage.
15 line. 15 line.
On 2nd down now. It's Henry, and he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. The tally there, -2 yards, brings up 3rd down.
That's 2 really good stops in a row. Back-to-back tackles for losses. I mean, let's face it, they are locked into what they're doing offensively, and now they've earned the right to rush the passer on 3rd down, haven't they?
Yeah, and offensively they're going to have to do something else, because the run game, at least on this drive, isn't working. 2 running plays go backwards, so what's the call on 3rd and 13 now? Out of the gun, Tannehill. And he will not be able to hang on through the contact. It's incomplete. The coverage strong, and now it's 4th down.
I think we'll see more of them trying to get him the football out of the backfield. They love what he can do in open space, and they believe that he creates mismatches they can exploit.
Now Greg Joseph for the field goal try. This officially a 55-yard attempt. And that one's not going to get there. Not enough juice, an ambitious effort, but it's well short. And this score will stay right where it is. A 55-yard attempt, normally you'd say well within his range. A little surprised he came up short.
And he knew it immediately, didn't he? They are so calibrated, aren't they? They can tell the touch, the feel. When they put the foot to the ball, whether it's going to be good or not, he knew immediately he didn't have that one.
As Baltimore makes their way back out here, Charles, I'll ask you the question everybody is asking about Baltimore. Are they the team to beat in the playoffs? They sure look like it. They haven't lost since September 29th, 12 wins in a row to finish the season, and now they face the Titans.
And who did they lose on September 29th? Who did they lose to?
The Browns.
Hard to believe, isn't it? And they got run out of the stadium that day. So that was their last clunker. You mentioned it, 12 straight wins to finish the season. Number 1 in offense, number 1 in rushing, number 3 in defense, and they hit your quarterback an awful lot. And the best part about their game is that their quarterback, Lamar Jackson, is no longer just a one-dimensional running type of a quarterback. He can hurt you with his arm as well and be accurate throwing the football. They are the team to beat in the AFC. I do think that Kansas City will have a lot to say about it before it's all said and done.
On 2nd and 15 now. Jackson, they'll roll him out right. And give him 10 that time as he was able to get away from the pressure and get a nice gain.
Partner was a definite passing down, but he was able to leak out and pick up some good yardage, even though the coverage was excellent. Maybe it's not exactly how they drew it up, but he still got a big chunk of yardage on 2nd down.
From midfield now, here's Jackson. Open man is the tight end, Nick Boyle. His first catch, good for 9 and a first down.
And the tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then of course they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play. And that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
This is Ingram on 1st and 10. And he'll lose yardage here, back at the 47. That really sets him back, a loss of 6.
That didn't appear to be a run blitz. He just darted in once he saw the run develop. That appeared to be a case of see ball, get ball.
Now on 2nd and 16. Jackson, they go screen. This is Ingram. Yeah, he'll be out just a yard or two shy of the 30. 16 yards on that one and a Raven first.
When you run a screen pass really well, you got to like the look of it because so many parts come together to make it work well. The offensive linemen, where they're faking people out, the back slipping out there, catching the football, then all of them going together as one unit downfield. A really nice pickup.
Jackson and the offense come up 1st and 10. And he's a perfect 5 for 5 here to begin the game. They run. It's Mark Ingram. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. That's going to go as a loss of 1 on 1st down.
All right, quick observation, Brandon, because early on in this game, I'm seeing linebackers putting up their noses close to the line of scrimmage.
And my guess is the wheels are turning on that other sideline. As a play caller, you're filing that away right now, aren't you?
Yeah, you're trying to find that opportunity later on when you can play action them or stick something to them between the 2nd and the 3rd level.
On 2nd down, Ingram. And only able to get 2 here. Stopped at the 30. A look at the defensive striders for Tennessee.
Kenny Vaccaro is an excellent player. Can cover in the slot, but his best attributes, tackling people and rushing the quarterback.
Now play number 7 of this drive, but it's a tough 3rd and 9. From the gun, it's Jackson. Rolling to his right. He can run for it, and he will. The coverage may be too good that time as he breaks away for 19 with his legs and a 1st down.
When they watch film of this game and hand out the grade sheets, he's going to really like getting a double plus on this play. Why? He scrambles and picks up a 1st down. But what else does he do? Protects himself by sliding and avoiding the big hit. Double plus, big time play.
They'll throw on 1st down with Jackson. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Ravens touchdown. An 11-yard touchdown as the Ravens push further out in front.
Well, they have to be loving this start to the 1st quarter.
Well, the way that they're going, I mean, you're talking about 2 touchdown drives already. They feel very confident and feel like they have all the answers in this game. They're 1 point away from going up 14-0. Maybe they press the advantage and go for 2.
Tucker now for the extra point. And it's good, and they have jumped out here to a quick 14-0 first quarter lead. That time a 9-play drive, and it's capped off by the Baltimore score. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. This is taken at the 3. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. Time to revisit Tennessee's playoff talk here as they come back out on offense. 9-7 this year for the 4th straight year during the regular season, but unlike last year, this year's 9-7 finish got them into the playoffs, the win that we discussed over New England. Now, can they take care of business going to Baltimore as the road gets tougher?
They feel like they can because they feel like they finally hit their formula that they were seeking at the beginning of this season. Big, strong offensive line. Run the ball effectively with Derrick Henry. Throw off a play action. Now Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback. A.J. Brown, the rookie receivers, developed very well. And the defense they thought would be at least top 10 is really more like top 5. And they can run. Can they run with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore is going to be the question. But this team believes they can go in there and get it done.
We'll see if Derrick Henry can repeat that 182-yard performance that he had on his 26th birthday in Foxborough. So in Raven territory now. Here's a 1st and 10 at the 46. From the gun, here's Tannehill. His throw incomplete. The intended receiver that time, Adam Humphries. And now it's 2nd down. And the offensive starters for Tennessee.
So let's all work together on this one because it's natural to just watch the football. But I want all of us to watch the center of this offensive line, the center and the 2 guards. They've got to be able to control the point of attack, and they didn't do such a good job on that last play. Plenty of opportunities to redeem themselves. They'll have to take advantage of that and start to make progress.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. Derrick Henry. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 47. That backs him up 1 yard and brings up 3rd down.
Part of the thinking when you bring in extra tight ends, you're hoping that each of your guys gets those one-on-one blocks and creates a crease for your runner. You know what the converse is, though? You've got to win those one-on-one blocks, and when you don't, that's the result you end up with.
The Ravens bring out an extra defensive back here on 3rd. A shotgun snap for Tannehill. And the pressure will get to him. He goes down. Now there is a flag on the play, but this looks like holding on the offense. So instead of giving them another 3rd down, they'll decline it, brings up 4.
Now that's smart football right there. You don't even have to really spend a lot of time considering it. Just know that you're probably going to get the ball back. Good job declining that penalty.
On 4th down, here's Brett Kern to punt the football away. Back deep is DeAnthony Thomas. This is away and a very good kick, angled for the sidelines. This one will sail out of bounds. It'll depend on the spot here. And the side judge says that went out at the 7-yard line. Lamar Jackson marching back onto the field. A big reason why they've been so successful. This defense hasn't been able to contain him when he gets outside of the pocket.
So true, and that's when it's really difficult because defensively you can have a game plan and trying to account for all the things you've seen on tape, the way that they run their plays, even his running. But when it's a play where you just can't really say, okay, that's how the play's supposed to go, what they call broken plays, that's when the X and O doesn't work. That's when their Jimmy is better than your Joe.
The Baltimore offense at the line, set to get going. And right now they're saying, hey, let's keep this going. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, can't ask for a better start than that, can you? I mean, this is the way you practice it. This is the way you rehearse it. But right now, the play calling, they're locked in really well.
Great way to start the drive. 20 big ones and a 1st down.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
Ingram again, a first down carry. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
They went right back to him, but he pretty much had nowhere to go on that play.
Yeah, the previous carry looked pretty good. That one, maybe he was a little tired. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he should have tapped out and had a second back come in and maybe make that run. Who knows?
Mike 54. Let's go, defense. Hey, man up, D. Man up, D.
On 2nd and 9, Jackson. He dumps it down to Ingram. And only able to get 2 here. Stopped at the 30.
A 2-yard pickup brings up 3rd and 6.
Got an extra defensive back out there for the Titans now here for 3rd down. To throw is Jackson. He gets it to Brown. Complete. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. They get 14 on that one. That's good for a Baltimore first down. A pretty sizable deficit here in the first quarter. This defense probably need to get off the field in those situations on 3rd down.
And you and I both know in this huddle before that last 3rd down play, that's exactly what they talked about. Let's make a play. Let's get off the field. Let's reverse the momentum. Instead, they got hit with another first down, almost back to the drawing board.
Jackson now 8 of 8 throwing the ball in this first quarter. It's 1st and 10. Jackson from the shotgun. It's complete to Snead. A gain of 6 there on 1st. 14-0 the score. This is the NFL on EA Sports. Six yards was the pickup on the last completion, so here's 2nd and 4.
Watch the run. Watch the run.
Out of the gun, they give to Ingram. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a 3rd down.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat? And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. The Ravens on 3rd down. A perfect 4 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 4. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
Jackson's pass intended for Seth Roberts. Incomplete.
They had enough yards for the first down, but a clutch hit right there defensively. Jars it free. No first down.
So on 4th down, here's Sam Cook to punt it away. Adam Humphries deep for the Titans. He gets us away. It's a good one, drawing toward the sidelines. And here comes Tennessee as they get set to take the field. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive. But at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer. And make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still second quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay. Now a carry for the shifty Dion Lewis. And he's going to get about 7 yards on that one, up to around the 33.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on first down, that fits the bill.
A good run got 7 on first. Here's 2nd and 3.
57's the mic. Watch 57. Right.
They keep it on the ground. This time it's Henry. And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. 6 yards to pick up, and that's a first down.
I'm okay with the call there. In fact, I actually like it. I know they're down a couple of scores, but the running game worked in that situation. I would continue to go in that direction.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10.
I'm scared.
Go.
Tannehill. Got a man. It's Brown. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
Brings up 2nd and 8 at the 41-yard line.
So 2nd and 8 here after the pass play for 2 yards on first down. Tannehill. And he finds Corey Davis. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. The Titans get 14 yards there and move the chains as well.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route, and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
Now a dump off here complete, and he'll get it down here to the 43. Call it a 1-yard gain on the play, and it'll make it 2nd down.
Brings up 2nd and 9 at the 43-yard line.
They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. This is Henry. Flashed the stick skills, but didn't get a ton from it. Stopped short of the 35. Good work to pick up 7 yards there. That gets him into a 3rd and 1 situation.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball, but when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
They'll try to run for the first with Henry. And he will be very close to a first down, but I see the closed fist of the referee, and that means 4th down.
They tried their best to pick up that 3rd and 1, but their surge wasn't enough to counteract what came back at them from the defensive side, was it?
Offensive line, especially in the middle, looked like they were on skates a little bit when that one started.
So now we bring up 4th and inches. This will be a critical call.
And for the 2nd time tonight, this field goal unit comes out here. This will be kicked from the 42. It's a 52-yard attempt. That's running out of steam, and it won't get there. He left it just short. No good. And this score will stay right where it is. So 2 missed field goals for him now, and that's helped keep them with a big 0 on the scoreboard.
Well, it's not the only reason they have a 0. The offense has been bogged down a few times now, but it's certainly not helping the cause any at all.
And we shift our attention to Mark Ingram. The passing game, they've had more success there than the running game. Maybe something they game plan for.
How come they didn't tell us about it?
Because they wanted to keep it a secret.
We did ask, didn't we? But I think what happened in this one is they've realized that they've established the run pretty well, and teams are going to key on that. They thought they could open it up and have success through the air, and that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, they've had success at least so far here in the 2nd quarter. Good field position to start the drive after the missed field goal. Here's first down from the 42. Jackson now. This will be caught by Brown. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. 10 yards there, good enough for a Raven first down.
It's a nice completion, a little bit of run after catch as well to create the yardage that they got. But it is so tough to cover that route, the drag route, because they run it at varying speeds. Because the key is to create hesitancy on the defender's part.
Always so empathetic for those DBs, aren't you? A 10th carry here for Mark Ingram. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
Well, he hasn't made much of an impact in the running game thus far, and after that last run, not much is going to change in that area.
He hasn't been able to get anything going, and really the offensive line not helping him much. On second down, it's Ingram. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. That's going to go down as a loss of 5, and it brings up third down. He was able to escape momentarily in the backfield, but you could just kind of tell that wasn't going anywhere.
You know, in the film session, he'll get a minus for not getting him on the ground by himself. But what the coach is really going to analyze, how fast did his teammates get there to help him? If one guy slows him up, everyone else better be there, and that's what they got on that play.
The Ravens on third down. They've been near perfect, 4 for 5 to this point. This is third down and 12. Jackson now, operating from the gun, sliding out of the pocket. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle's made at the Titans' 28.
Under the category of obvious, you hate giving up a first down on third and long. And somehow, he finds his way downfield and picks it up.
If you look at the coverage defensively, oh, this is great, but no one accounted for him at the quarterback spot.
At some point, you actually have to tackle him and get him on the ground short of the first down marker.
Jackson now. Only one pass has hit the ground for him. 10 of 11 thus far. It's 1st and 10. Stepping up, he's going to keep it. They'll take it into the end zone for a Ravens touchdown. Lamar Jackson on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns as the Ravens push further out in front. Well, Charles, he's already proven that he's not afraid to tuck that football down on the option, and he's into the end zone for the second time in the game.
And that's exactly what you need from your quarterback, the ability to run the ball fearlessly. And, in fact, many quarterbacks will tell you running the football doesn't scare them. Standing in the pocket and taking blindside hits, that's what terrifies them.
And now it's blocked. That's a live ball scooped up by the offense.
We're going to shut you down. We're going to shut you down.
On plays like this, when the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is a quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
Now he's back out there to boom this one away, maybe with some frustration after the PAT miss. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. And here comes Tennessee as they get set to take the field. And we don't want to call this desperation time, especially in the second quarter, but you're down.
You don't want to.
No, but let me finish.
Okay, my bad.
You're down 3 scores already. You've done nothing offensively, nothing on the scoreboard. That's not a good combination.
I think you just called it desperation time. I think you did. But let's face it, you mentioned this to me in a break earlier in the game. The energy level hasn't been there right from the start. We've noticed that. They've got to find a way to get on their toes and start punching instead of retreating, to use a boxing analogy.
They'll start on the ground. It's Derrick Henry. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
Partner, I remember a coaching friend of mine used to tell his running backs before games, make sure you run and jog with your offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking when those big behemoths start to create space for you up front. He did a pretty good job of just following those guys through there for a nice explosive run.
Let's go, let's bring it.
A second down run with Lewis. A gain of just a yard, but it's a first down.
I I know what you're thinking out there. I know a lot of you are thinking, take a shot downfield. It's a great spot for it. I'd say maybe later in the game, definitely in the second half. But right now, I think they were just trying to get some momentum built. Get a first down, pick it up, and keep moving.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Now contact up front as penalty markers come in. Who is this against? As an inside linebacker, got to be a little bit more poised.
No doubt about it, because they get a little bit of flexibility, especially when they're trying to stuff a gap. You know, we get that double A gap look. This time he got too eager and got too deep into the backfield.
So a 1st and 5 now after the 5-yard penalty from the neutral zone infraction. Now a play fake, and it's Tannehill. And nearly picked off. Surprising to see a defender of his caliber let it get away, but it does get away and it's 2nd down.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
So they'll come up after the incompletion for 2nd down. Draw play. This is Henry. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. It'll only be a gain of a yard, and it sets up a 3rd down at 4 now.
He's definitely tough to get down. We just saw it right there. But how about what we did see? Pursuit, wrap up, and then the big finish with the tackle.
The Titans on 3rd down. 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This is 3rd and 4. Now Tannehill. It's complete to Brown, right side. And he's going to be taken down with the 1st down at the Ravens' 34-yard line.
Well, we always hear about the connections some quarterbacks have with certain receivers. I think this guy has a connection with just about everyone. Didn't mind throwing it in there against double coverage to him.
Shows some confidence, supreme confidence.
Big-time confidence that he would make the play for him, and he did.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Tannehill now to throw. He's got Lewis. And this play will be blown up. He'll lose yardage back at the 38. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here. And it'll bring up a 2nd and 13. Really good defensive effort. They were all over that little swing pass out to the right side before lost yardage.
Terrific read, better execution, and done with a lot of enthusiasm, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
They saw it all the way, ran to the football, and caused a nice play for lost yardage.
The loss of 3 on that 1st down pass play. Now 2nd and 13. 10th carry now for Derrick Henry. So he got free of one tackle but couldn't do a whole lot else. Give him 2 yards that time, and it's going to leave him with a 3rd and 11 situation.
Well, so many times we look at a short run and we praise the offense for trying to set the tempo and establish things, but the defensive guys, hey, they just won the battle there. It wasn't a big run given up. They don't always have to absorb the body blows. Sometimes they dish them out themselves.
Here's Tannehill. Sets up the screen to Lewis. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. That winds up being a 4-yard loss and leads to 4th down. Well, you can see what they wanted to do. They wanted to set up the screen there, but it got blown up.
It's hard to run that play if you're not getting a lot of pressure at the quarterback because the space doesn't open up. They were able to read that one and slow it down and stop it before they could get a 1st down.
Here's Brett Kern now as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. 46 on his first kick. This one in that neighborhood as well. Out of bounds and close. The question, was it a touchback? No. They'll say it crossed out at the 2-yard line. Excellent placement, and off that bounce, Charles, I didn't know where it was going to go. It can be an inexact science as to where they place it, but they say the 2-yard line.
Yeah, I don't know how they really determined that. And let's face it, at the end of that play, one side's going to be happy, the other team's going to be unhappy. It's like, what do they do, shorten the hypotenuse? I mean, how do they figure that out? You know that stuff. You're the smart guy.
No, that's you, partner. Now a first carry for their fullback. Well, that gives them a little room, but not much. A gain of 2 to the 5.
Now, that's the defense that they were looking for, being able to get extra bodies to the point of attack to deal with the big guy carrying the ball. You really don't want to be in a position where it's a one-on-one tackle with him.
Here we go, D. All day, defense, all day, all day.
On second down now, it's Ingram. And a short gain here as he gets it up only to about the 6. Just a couple on the ground there, and that's going to bring up 3rd and about 6.
In order to play really good run defense when you're playing a 3-4, those 3 guys up front, the nose tackle and the guys they call the defensive ends, they're usually big, big people because they're going to have to eat up a lot of blockers because it's usually 5 on 3. And when they do their job well, guys who play on the inside, those inside linebackers, they're able to just roam and hit.
We remind you that coming up at halftime, Jonathan Coachman will be alongside. He'll have highlights and analysis from Orlando of this first half of action. Now a shot taken on 3rd down, but it's going to wind up incomplete.
And you just know when that play call came in, their eyes lit up because anytime you get a chance to take a big shot downfield, that's a lot of fun, and they missed an opportunity.
Here's Sam Cook now as he's on to punt for Baltimore. And he'll get this away into the icy winter air. A big boot that time. 57 yards the official distance. And it'll be Titan football. And we spotlight Derrick Henry now. He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the second quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call it in the West Coast offense, the long handoff? Yeah. Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game because of the effects of running it. Sometimes people, after a while, they don't want to tackle him anymore, or they get tired, or they get out of position, or he runs through tackles. Continue to feed him the ball. He's having that kind of game.
Yeah, might they get him the ball in some space in some different ways here. A gain of 6 there on 1st. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
Now you've got to hustle your guys to the line and get them set. To throw again on second down. Tannehill looking middle, and it's incomplete. He was trying to get it to A.J. Brown that time, and it's 3rd and 4.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but only the second quarter, a lot of time to change things. And he finds his target. It's Sharp. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. A good pickup there, 26 yards. The Titans going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime.
Set 60 or.
Now a first down throw, Tannehill. This one caught by Davis. And he'll be out of bounds as he gets this down about the 21 or 22.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6.
Check 31, check 31.
Again, Tannehill. He'll get this one into the hands of Lewis. Now Tennessee going to use the second of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with just under 50 seconds remaining in half number 1. The first red zone opportunity for the Titans. They have a 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. To the air again, Tannehill. And he'll go down, brought down at the 20-yard line. Michael Pierce, in all of his 340-pound glory, gets the sack.
3 scores down, not even a halftime yet. They are not getting much generated offensively. They've got to figure it out.
It's tough because this defense just seems to be playing with so much confidence right now.
They really are. They are on their toes, and they're getting at them.
Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on 2nd down. Here's Tannehill. And his pass incomplete.
There are a good number of coaches that any time they call an in route are really worried about the play because there's so much traffic ordinarily that the ball has to get through to get to the receiver. And on that play, it was batted down.
7th play of this drive coming up, but a long way to go on 3rd down. Out of the gun, Tannehill. And it's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee. Jonnu Smith as the first half is winding down, as they are now on the board here in the first half. The way this one was going, you just got the sense they needed something before half. They've at least got something on the board now. Still trailing, but a good sign.
That takes me back to our preseason tour of NFL camps. You remember we talked with that one coach who said his emphasis this year was scoring in the last 2 minutes of a half, heading into the locker room. This hits it right there. Take that momentum, take that good feeling, and take it to the locker room, regroup, and start over. They got it here.
They did indeed. A lot of football, full half to be played. Extra point splits the uprights, and that will shave one more off this lead. Joseph now to kick this one away. This is taken at his 4. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. Time here for likely a couple plays if they want it, but with the field position what it is, maybe better suited to just sit on this one?
I'm with you totally. I would sit on it and get into the locker room and start over. But if they do decide to try and make a play, we know what the basics are. You run draw, you run screen. I would maybe run a little swing pass and try and get my lineman out in space and see if they can chop a hole into the secondary and see if he can run a little bit.
So we've reached the intermission in what right now is a 13-point game. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. And welcome in, everyone, to an abbreviated version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. This one has been a hard-hitting affair to this point, and you got to expect we'll see more of the same in the second half. And to bring the action your way, let's get it right back out to Brandon Gott.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This will be taken in at the 1. And he'll take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. And here comes Tennessee as they get set to take the field. They have the ball here for the inaugural drive of the second half. Pretty big deficit, though. We'll see what adjustments were made in that locker room.
And I never want to make something more important than it actually is, right? I don't want to create more hype than what is there.
But
this is I'm doing it, though. This is a really important drive. And we often talk about teams scripting plays to start a game. A lot of them script to start the second half, too. And they're scripting something that they expect to get them into the end zone and back into this game.
We'll see if that script is a good one for them. They'll only get a couple up to about the 30. You know, despite the scoreline, I think they've got to like where they are here. They're on the road and just one big play away from getting right back in this game.
I'm going to follow right along with you because the spot they're in now is a credit to their defense. They've kept them in it by making the plays that they've made, and that just means you're one big score away from being right back there.
Now, the question is, can this offense step up and make that play? Because that's been an issue for them in this game. And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
Now, that's the way to do it. Hand it to someone with vision and good footwork and handling a little bit of power, and you find a way to pick up first downs.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10.
Ready, go. Ready. Now.
They'll run with Henry. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down, a very solid gain on that play.
Set, ready, 70, Indy.
Again, it's Henry. And he'll get it down to the 47 here. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down. And we were down on the field watching Henry warm up before the game. He's a big man. No wonder he breaks those tackles.
And you remember what I told you when we were watching? It's not all pads. I mean, you get him out of pads and just see him in a regular suit or an outfit. He is a huge human being and a lot faster than what people know. When he gets rolling, he's a lot to bring down.
A solid run by Derrick Henry, and here's another 1st and 10. And to give this time to the tailback. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
This drive is pretty clear. Almost feels like old school fundamentals, doesn't it? Want to impose their will on the defense. Was that 5 straight runs?
Yeah, 5 straight carries to start this drive. And like you said, the way it's working, they may just stick with it. Off play action, Tannehill. Over the middle here to Brown. And he's going to be taken down with the first down at the Ravens' 23.
The goal for any offense versus a zone defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route.
Here we go, here we go. 90, Wolf. And go.
A first down carry for Henry. And he stopped immediately there. No gain on the play. It'll be second down.
His carries tonight, they're getting up there, so maybe one of those every now and then is understandable.
I would agree with that. Understandable every now and then. Sometimes you come back and you fake it to him and go play action. But other times you say, okay, they got him on that one. We'll come back to him in another carry.
Throwing on second down. Tannehill got his man complete over the middle. That's Brown. An 11-yard pickup for the Titans and a first down.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
And the busy night for Henry continues. And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down.
That's a strong pickup right there on first down. And as this drive goes on, we're seeing an offensive line and running game imposing its will.
Come on, set, 8, read.
3 buns, 3 buns.
Shoot.
Only 2 there on the dump off. It's third down.
Set, 18 Gator.
I got you. I got you.
Come. 5.
Tannehill on third down. And that is caught by Davis for a Tennessee touchdown. 4 yards on the touchdown grab as his guys are back within a single score. That's a score you felt they had to have here in the third quarter to get back in this game.
And you know that there's an emphasis on their side. Hey, we know this. We know where we are. But sometimes that binds you up so much that you try too hard, you don't get the score. A perfect combination of urgency, yet relaxed enough to get it done.
And a pause in the action because the booth, they see something that they want to take another peek at to find out if this was a touchdown or not.
Tannehill's pass complete to number 84, Corey Davis. Touchdown.
They had to go to the monitor, get an extra look. That's what the technology is for, and this touchdown will count. Joseph now to have the PAT. And it's good. The deficit 6, 20-14. A pretty long drive that time. 11 plays all told. And it ends with a Tennessee score. Joseph now to kick this one away. This will be taken in at the 1. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. The Ravens offense getting ready now for their first possession of the second half. Jackson and the Ravens come up now 1st and 10 at their own 24. The drive starts here with a carry by Ingram. And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35. 12 yards to pick up there. Good for a Raven first.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Now it's Ingram. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball, protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. 6 yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4.
I smell fear in that offense. I smell fear in that offense.
Now it's Jackson. Throwing the out route incomplete. That's Brown. And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
But it appears that they read man defense and went to the out route, and what you have to do on that one is the receiver's got to make sure he works the defender towards the middle of the field to give himself space to cut to the outside and have that ball delivered with good timing, and they got it done.
Jackson, Snead's got it. And a gain of 4 gets him right to the midfield stripe. 4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. From the gun, it's a run for Ingram. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And all of a sudden here, it's 3rd down.
Anytime you call an inside running play, you just know there should be a lot of congestion there. You're counting on your offensive line to take control of the line of scrimmage. That didn't happen in this case, and that play got bottled up.
On the ready. Ready, go. Check 55, Mike. I'm coming for you, son. I'm coming for you, son.
They'll fake the give to Ingram. Now Jackson. And he's got his man, Marquise Brown. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle's made at the Titans' 37. A little tough on the secondary there. In zone defensively. Quarterback had time to survey and find a spot.
And if you want to change things up and put a little more pressure on him, you can go to man coverage. Everyone matches up and send more pressure. But you can also do it out of zone coverage if you're worried about what's going to happen on your back end. Send someone else, drop someone else out of the line. The old zone blitz could come into play to try and get that pressure on the quarterback.
So operating from Tennessee territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Looking for a seam, but finding none. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Officially no gain on the play, and it's 2nd down. Nice job there defensively to clamp down because really they've been on their heels this drive.
Agreed, and they really needed that one for confidence, just to feel a little bit better. But I don't know if I would be daunted by them stopping me on one run. This drive has gone pretty well. I could come right back at them.
A minimal gain there on the 8th play of the drive.
A gain of 1 brings up 3rd down and 9.
Now play number 8 on this drive, and they need 9 yards to pick up the first on 3rd. From the gun, it's Jackson. Flush to his right. He may try and run for this. Decent gain on the scramble to 6, but now it's 4th.
I like this effort there. He got it done on his own. But let's face it, he puts defenses in a really stressful spot when he takes off and runs because a lot of guys have coverage responsibilities.
Good job of rallying, though, because I thought when he first took off, he might pick up the first down.
For the field goal. A 47-yard attempt.
And this one looks good. It is good. Right down the pipe. And high fives for that one as that drive ends in 3. So he splits the uprights and has to be a nice feeling. Right when it left his foot, knew it was good.
Yeah, just like a good three-point shooter in basketball, right? Release the ball, fall back on defense without even looking. You know it's going in the hoop.
Tucker now following the made field goal, set to kick it away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here's Ryan Tannehill and the Dolphin offense back out onto the field. How do you think he personally is evaluating his game so far? He was pretty good in the first half, been good so far here in the third quarter. He's got to like it, right?
Not looking for the dramatics here. Not trying to set the world on fire in terms of stats. It's almost like you're driving. Hands at 10 and 2, alert for anything out there, watching for trouble on the road, and making sure you get the team home.
The bus driver. See if he can drive the bus here again on this drive. Now it's Tannehill off the bootleg. He'll buy some time right. He'll try and run it. He'll get just a yard on the scramble. It's second down.
How about a tip of the cap to the defense? They're working against a very mobile quarterback, but all day long they've kept him under wraps. And on that play, they held him to a short gain.
The last play got just a yard. Here's second and 9 from the 26.
They're not ready for this. They still playing soccer.
Now it's Henry. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. An 11-yard pickup for the Titans and a first down. What makes a draw play like that successful?
Well, we did see where he made the first wave miss, and that was a big part of it. But a lot of it is just being actors back there, making the defense think it's going to be a pass.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
It's a party now. It's a party now.
A shotgun snap for Tannehill. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. Jonnu Smith, the tight end, his intended receiver. But it'll be second down. Great coverage there all around. Really didn't have many options to throw the football.
Very little chance that that one was going to be completed. Every receiver was locked up.
Line of scrimmage, again the 37 as they line up second and 10. Tannehill throwing middle, but it's incomplete. Before the game, they were running the route tree about as efficiently and effectively as we could have possibly imagined, but sometimes the passes just go awry.
Yeah, let's face it, when you're running the route tree in pregame, you don't have defenders breathing down your neck. You don't have defensive backs making plays on the football. Hard to replicate the intensity of the game in pregame.
Back to throw, Tannehill. Under pressure, and he's going to go down. Tannehill sacked. You never want to give up a sack. From the O-line's perspective, they hate it for several reasons, especially because they felt like they let little brother down back there in the pocket.
Oh, no doubt. They have a ton of pride, and they go into every job wanting to keep that guy clean. They want that uniform with no grass stains, no dirt, nothing on it, but it's really, really difficult. You're talking about some terrific athletes who are trying to put him on the ground.
Here's Brett Kern now as he's on to punt for Tennessee. We'll call that a punt of 54 yards. Well struck. And the Ravens, they'll take over. This Ravens offense heads back out there, led by Lamar Jackson. How do you break down his game so far? Just the one touchdown pass, but sometimes the touchdown pass stat category, that doesn't tell the whole story.
It really doesn't. Not until you balance it with the error side. You know, and in this case, he hasn't thrown any interceptions. So a lot of people would call this almost a pedestrian game, kind of a bus driver game. But that's just really wrong. Being a bus driver is a good thing if you're running a football team, because that means you're in control and you're taking your team to the right places.
Yeah, he's been pretty solid. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line.
Well, they have had success when he keeps the ball running it, but not in that situation. I mean, I think we got an example of why NFL coaches really don't like their quarterback in the running game.
Because whether he keeps it or not, he's likely going to take a hit, isn't he?
No doubt about it. And defenses, they're looking to put that hit on a quarterback.
So now they have to contend with 2nd and 13 after the first down run goes backwards. Jackson going to get this out to Brown. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down.
It's a gain of 4. Brings up 3rd and 9.
On 3rd down, Jackson. He can run for it, and he will. That one a broken play, but it ends up being a good play. The scramble goes for 20. And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. So we will switch ends as the 3rd quarter has come to a close. And that'll do it for the end of the 2nd quarter. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Another carry for the workhorse tonight, Ingram. And he'll take this one up close to about the 45. Kevin Byard up to make the tackle.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
From the 45 on 2nd down, Jackson. That's into the hands of the tight end, Boyle. The 2nd down play results in a loss of 2 yards.
In today's NFL, we're accustomed to the tight end getting downfield and creating plays and wreaking a little havoc in the secondary. Not on this one, though. They diagnosed that one really well.
Tried the dump off, lost yardage. The Ravens on 3rd down. They've been really good, converting 7 of their 10 tries. This is 3rd and 11. Off the play fake, here's Jackson. He's going to find his tight end, Boyle. And he's going to have another 1st down as the tackle's made at the Titans' 38-yard line.
Now that's a big pickup right there, and so often we focus on how the quarterback's faking out play action. How about everyone being in on the deal and picking it up?
2nd, 3rd levels, you could see them trying to recover. They bit. Worked out offensively. So operating from Tennessee territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 38. Back to the running game. It's Ingram. So a nice job to break the 1 tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down. Bringing him down defensively, Jayon Brown.
They know that old expression, it's not my night. It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
Every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. Jackson's throw on target to Willie Snead, and he's able to get it down to the 25-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a 1st down.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect them to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
Jackson and the offense come up 1st and 10, and he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. Jackson throwing here complete to Boyle, and they'll bring him down at the 18-yard line. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion.
When you execute a drag or a crossing route really well and give them a chance to let it develop a little bit, you can gain some significant yardage hitting your tight end on that one.
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. This is Ingram, and he's eaten up at the line of scrimmage. Might have gotten a yard down to the 16.
Haven't met a defense coordinator yet that thinks 2nd and 2 is a fun situation to try and defend. Playbook is wide open for an offense, partner.
Nice job. Hold him to 1 after that 8-yard pickup on first down. The Ravens on 3rd down. They've had plenty of success. 8 conversions, looking for a 9th. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. This will be caught just inside the 10. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. He's been the go-to guy. They needed a big play there on 3rd down. Went his way. It worked out.
Doesn't matter whether they've scouted it or that they think he's going to get the ball. He has a knack for finding his way open and completing the connection.
So another 3rd down conversion, and now they've got a 1st and goal. They'll run here with Ingram. And this play doesn't go anywhere. Backwards, losing yardage to the 11. A loss of 2 there, 2nd down.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the 4th quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there. Now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
So they get pushed back to the 11, and here's 2nd and goal. Here's Jackson to throw. This will be caught by Brown. And he is into the end zone for a Baltimore touchdown. Marquise Brown, his 2nd touchdown of the night as the Ravens push further out in front.
In order to lead in a game, you're going to get plenty of contributors, but that's his 2nd touchdown catch of this game. He's one of the key guys in this one.
And you better believe he'll be looking for the hat trick here as this one continues to go. So the Ravens will keep the offense on the field as they're going to go for 2.
All day, every day, any day.
From the gun, Jackson. They'll roll him out right. He's going to take off with it. And he is into the end zone to bump the lead up 2 more. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here's the Titan offense now as they make their way back onto the field. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the punter no longer exists for their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
Tannehill and the Titans come up now 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Tannehill now to throw. It's caught by Davis. And up to the 35 before they're able to knock him down. That's a first down pickup for Tennessee on a gain of 10. Decent start to the drive, but let's face it, they need a lot of things to go right in a short amount of time, down 3 scores.
Yeah, they're going to run their 2-minute offense here in this game, but this is for future games. Can they get better and be ready for the next time, hopefully with a chance to win?
Tannehill on first down. Complete. This is Lewis. And he'll be out of bounds up near the 45 at the 44. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. On the draw, this is Lewis. He can muster only a yard there, and they'll be left with a 3rd and very short.
What an advantage having an elite guy in the middle of the defensive line, because not only does he take up the space and let the linebackers run free, but he can also make plays himself, as we just saw there.
The offense on 3rd down tonight, not quite 50%, 4 for 9. They're looking at 3rd and a few inches. From the gun, here's Tannehill. And that's complete to Lewis. 13 yards is the pickup for Tennessee and a first down. And at his size, he's a smaller back. You can get him to football. He can kind of get lost, make someone miss. It's good for him.
Yeah, it's great for him. I like what you said there. Sometimes he gets lost in the traffic a little bit, but get him out in the open field into some space. That plays to his strengths the best and keeps him out of it where all the big boys are, you know, make him make someone miss in the open field.
Tannehill now, a perfect 8 for 8 to start the second half. Not bad. 1st and 10. A draw play here. Lewis. And they went the wrong way there. Losing yardage back at the 43-yard line. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11. This linebacking core, they've done a good job of keeping that running game in check, haven't they?
They certainly have, and what they'll also do when this game is over is thank the guys up front, the big defensive line, because they've kept them clean, so to speak. Not letting blockers get to them, allowing them to run to the football and keep that running game bottled up.
On the ready.
48, Mike. Rip right, rip right.
5.
On 2nd and 11 now. Tannehill. And that one got tipped. Kind of threw everything off. It brings up 3rd. At this point, down big, you'd have to imagine this defense, they're just going to sit back, blanket the field as best they can.
Yeah, this is actually the easy part of the game for them because, just as you noted, they can sit back, keep everything in front of them. But they've blanketed the field the entire game using a variety of coverages.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect. Now defensively, you look at the numbers. Another incomplete pass that we just saw, and they're under 200 yards passing for the game, so they've done their job on that side of the ball.
Yeah, recently I was actually working a game where a quarterback had a streak of 5 straight games without a 200-yard game. And that was a big talk, both in his town and amongst his team. How do we get the passing game going? So big credit to them, holding them under 200 today.
They're already slim hopes are going to ride on this one. They'll go on 4th down. Now Tannehill. And it is incomplete. The Titans try it, but ultimately they fail on 4th down. And the Ravens are going to get the football back. So the defense has to stay out and get one more stop. They were able to do it, forcing the incompletion.
So on their record, that goes down as a successful play. Doesn't matter how they got there, how it happened. They got it done. They're the ones that are jubilant.
And now here come the Ravens. Been a very strong performance for them, really on both sides of the football. The turnover on downs, the most recent example, and now, obviously, they're in a great spot here.
Yeah, if you're over on the bench right now, you're shaking hands with your teammate, you're hugging him, give him a little dap. Been a big, big performance for them. Now you just don't get careless. Take care of the ball on the way out.
Baltimore with good starting field position as they come up 1st and 10 at their own 43. They'll run with Ingram here to begin the drive. And not much there at all. Maybe a yard up to the 43.
That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead positive gain. Just keep that clock ticking.
At the 43-yard line.
Ready up. 55. Check, 55, Mike. Coming this way, come on, go.
It's complete to Snead. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. 12 yards the pick up there. Good for a Raven first. He's played a great game. It continues right there, even with this lead. Confident to throw the pass and have the reception made.
There's no doubt who the leader of their team is there? There's no doubt who they want to ride all the way to the finish. Because strategy would tell you, run the football, run the clock down. Instead, they're letting him throw it because they feel that confident in what he's getting done.
Throwing now, Jackson on first down. And that'll be knocked away. It's incomplete. It was Kenny Vaccaro there to get a hand on that one. The incompletion there stops the clock. Any surprise they're throwing here late?
Ordinarily, yes, because you would think enough is enough. They've got plenty of lead, but I've seen this a bunch of times as well. The defense is going to crowd the line of scrimmage. If you just hand it off inside, you're getting your running back popped a lot as well. Sometimes the defense dictates it. If they're going to crowd it, you may have no other choice but to throw it downfield.
He takes this for about 6 down inside the 40.
I think we can safely say that those types of plays are the backbone of this offense. We know not every run's going to be a big hitter, but you know they'll take that type of result on each and every attempt.
Right there in the middle, 55. Now watch one. Cut up.
He gets it to Brown. Good play. And he's able to get it to the 33. Good enough for a first down. He's been big. 2 touchdowns earlier. Now he's got a first down here.
In today's football, where receivers break tackles, make people miss, get upfield for the extra yardage, when you see a play like that where it's caught and he's dropped on the spot, that's a big-time play by the defense.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33.
Watch the screen. Shoot.
This is Ingram on 1st and 10. Now it appears we've got an injured Raven down there on the field. While the training staff takes a peek, we'll take a break. They'll get 3 out of the dump-off there, and that'll lead to a 3rd down. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of, until they stop him, why not go back to him? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
Play number 7 now coming up on the drive. 3rd and 5. He may try and run for this. And they're going to mark him down short, maybe by about a yard, if that. 3 yards on the keeper, and it's 4th down.
And if you like defensive football, focus on the defensive end on this play. He does everything exactly right. Reads the play and makes sure he spills it for a small gain.
And for the 2nd time tonight, this field goal unit comes out here. He connected on his first, this from 41. Tucker's kick is good. And that will extend their lead even further. So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the 4th.
And you know in this league, you can never have enough points, but this widens it out, as you said, and now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
Tucker now following the made field goal, set to kick it away. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. And here comes Tennessee as they get set to take the field. And on that last drive, went for it on fourth, turned it over. A good job by their defense, though. They held them to 3, but this offense, they've got to be a little bit better, a little bit more careful here.
And sometimes when you see these calls on fourth down, when they decide to go for it, it's not necessarily the coach saying, I believe in my offense. Sometimes the coach saying, I believe in my defense. I can afford to go for it here because if we don't get it, I don't think we'll give up more than 3. And that's exactly what happened there.
You think that factored in?
I do. I think that he had that in his mind going into the game, that I'm going to be aggressive on offense because I know I've got a defense that can hold up their end.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Give him 16 yards there, a Tennessee first down.
It's so important to tackle well against these guys, but you and I both know that's easier said than done when the guy you're trying to tackle looks like this guy.
And it's usually going to take more than one man to get him down, and it did right there. One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. Out of the gun, Tannehill. Oh, he got position on him, and he pulls it in. Give him 16 yards there, a Tennessee first down.
Not only have they completed a couple on this drive, but they peeled off some pretty good chunks of yardage, too.
Absolutely, great start. 2 nice plays in the pass game. Now can they continue to feed off that? Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down.
Big stop, G. Big stop. Let's go.
Here's Tannehill. And his throw here's incomplete. The intended receiver there was Jonnu Smith. That'll bring up 2nd down. You and I watched film yesterday, and you told me to watch his feet. Well, for whatever reason, his footwork just looked off on that throw.
And you always love it when an ex-defensive back talks quarterback mechanics, right?
Well, but you're good at it.
Well, I try, all right? I don't know how good I am, but it doesn't take much to tell. His mechanics are off a little bit, exactly what you described. Footwork, that led to the incompletion.
Another throw on 2nd down, and this one incomplete as well.
After that throw, and it was definitely one that he would love to have back, I wonder what's going through his head. I wonder what kind of mind game he's playing with himself to get himself back on track. Because a lot of guys, that's what they do. They have little triggers that when the mechanics are off, or if they make a bad throw, that they go to that place to get themselves back in sync.
Now a nice throw here right side. He hauls it in. First down, Titans, gain of 12. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So the Titans in possession of the football here as we get you reset. They've got a 1st and 10 as they search for a late score. On first down, it's Tannehill. He gets it to Humphreys. And they'll work it inside the 15-yard line before it's all said and done. Tennessee getting the first down on a big play of 18 yards.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
Got him in. It's Brown. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. A good pickup there, 8 yards on the first down completion. Now they got to get to the line quickly. Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Tannehill, he completes it to Henry. And he'll get blown up behind the line of scrimmage, back at the 6. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down. And quickly they get to the line. Tannehill on 3rd down. He's got it. He didn't get the touchdown, but he did get the first down as he's tackled at the 1. The gain of 5 that time gives him the conversion and makes it first and goal. The Titans going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 ticks to go in the football game. Again, Tannehill. And into the end zone for a Tennessee touchdown. From a yard out. And the Titans are able to close the gap just a bit.
I'm not sure win-win is the proper term here, but it certainly felt like it. They got the touchdown they needed, but if I'm on the defensive side of the ball, okay, you got the touchdown, but it sure took you a long time.
Yeah, because offensively there, you're probably hoping for a 1 to 5 play drive. That one ate up a little more time than they were hoping.
You're exactly right, and if you have that 1 to 5 play drive, you actually build up momentum and even more hope. When they had to slog their way downfield, they got the touchdown, but it's almost like, yeah, you know,
doesn't feel right.
Exactly.
Extra point right down the middle, and that will get them one closer. So the drive goes 75 yards, 10 plays, and the result in the end, a Titans touchdown. So time definitely not in their favor. Down 2 scores, but they'll try the onside kick. And this is going to be recovered by the hands team. And that should just about put a capper on this one. They knew they needed a miracle. They had to have that onside kick. They didn't get it.
Well, as we knew, even before they put the toe to the leather on that one, their chances of getting that done, slim and none. And I do believe we saw Slim just leave the door, didn't we?
We did indeed. I think we're down to none. And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. And still 2 timeouts defensively, but even if they choose to use those, 3 kneel downs should be enough to get out of here with a victory.
And that's exactly what's being stated into the head coach's headset. Oftentimes they have a guy upstairs who monitors this at the end of the game. A little clock management 101.
The defense can stop it twice more as they take a knee here. Now Tennessee going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 25 ticks remaining on the clock.
Check, block 54, block 54. Double dog, that's what it is.
The D can only stop it one more time as they take the knee. Now the Titans will use their third and final timeout as they'll stop the clock with 24 seconds to go in the game. So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now third and long. Down to a knee goes Jackson, and that should seal it.
Listen, anytime you take a knee to end a game, that means you've won it. So it doesn't matter whether it's home or on the road, but there's something a little extra special about doing it in front of your home crowd, isn't there?
And the home crowd applauding. They're happy with what they've seen. Chalk this one up in the left-hand column for a win.
Yeah, that's right. Head to the locker room, throw the wristbands in the crowd for the kids, your gloves, your towels. Get to share it with the home team.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Charles, we saw a lot of points go up in this one. Certainly defensively, stuff that they can look at on film, don't you think?
No doubt about it. And they've got to go back and check where the errors are, how they're going to fix them, and continue to get better at what they do. But they also need a little adjustment with their confidence. To give up that many points, even if you win a game, that can hurt you.
So that'll do it for us. For my partner, Charles Davis, and all the hard-working men and women on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL right here on EA Sports. The Ravens are victorious here as we say so long from Baltimore.